Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's That Range Life, a show sometimes about golf. My name's Chris. You can follow me at Chris McEwen. With me, as always, Dr. William Bush, Esquire III. You can follow him at Range Heroes. And you should read his stuff over at drivingrangeheroes.com. At the end of this episode, we'll tell you what's new on that very website and what you should go check out.
In theory, if we remember.
How's that for a tease as Bill scrambles to...
No, I was turning my volume up. I was having a hard time picking you up in the the pods.
Yeah, I'm a little off because I lost my mic stand. So I got to keep this thing close to my face.
Might have to look around because I definitely have. You like the little guy that came with these? I got one.
Yeah.
I got another one.
Yeah, I'm sure it can't be far. I've got a 1,200 square foot condo.
I'm offering.
There's only so many spots, but I will take it. Yeah, I will take it if it never shows up again. Anyways, I want to start the show, Bill. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell too. Viewers,
do all that stuff. Yeah, it makes a difference.
Listeners, subscribe to the podcast and rate and review it. Always good for the algorithms.
Right.
So I didn't ask last night. So here in Chicago, for those that don't know,
oh my God,
it is. How would you describe it? A bit post. What's that word I'm looking for?
Apocalyptic.
I can't say it, but that we've got some serious bad air quality here. Like yesterday, I walked out a couple times just to get the dog outside, and you could smell trees burning.
Well, in the
middle of the city.
The thing I read yesterday, Chicago's air quality was the worst, like literally scored and rated the worst in the world yesterday. And going for a walk outside was the equivalent of smoking half a pack of Marlboros.
Yeah. Which I'm familiar with. I could reminisce a little bit about my half a pack a day habit.
My daughter freaked out when my wife and I were talking about that, and I was like, "Well, relax. You're not inhaling nicotine and maybe rocket fuel, but it's not exactly. The point is, you're inhaling that much like smoke residue.
It's just not great for your lungs in general, right?
Right.
And yet, where did you go last night? Because there's no way. I didn't think there was any way because when there were big forest fires in Europe, Pearl Jam canceled the show because Vedder's voice couldn't handle it. But then so I didn't think they were going to do the show. It's an outdoor show.
Bearing the lead, we had in town Noel Gallagher and Garbage,
right,
with special guest Metric, and they were playing at the. What is it now? The Huntington Bank Pavilion at Northerly Island.
Is it okay? We just call it Northerly Island,
right?
Or Old Miggs Field. Isn't that crazy? They used to land planes on that strip of land.
Airport and home to a planetarium. That's all it was.
That's right.
And so it's an totally outdoor venue. I've actually never seen a show there, so I was very excited. The beautiful views of the lake, and they pitched this like great skyline view. I think that's a stretch. It's pretty behind.
Not that you could see it last night anyways, but yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You couldn't see anything. And sure enough, through about halfway through the Garbage set, Shirley Manson and her delightful Scottish accent, which I remember when they came on the scene back in the day being like, whoa, what right. Still just as enchanting. And you're like, God, she's awesome. She's so cool. Talking about probably sharing a little too much. This is too private, but I have bad COPD.
Yeah.
Is that the COPD?
Yeah. Pulmonary whatever.
Right.
Disorder or whatever.
It's real bad. This is dangerous for me. It's with bad asthma, but we're cutting, so we have to cut our set a little shorter, but we really want to perform, and so we're doing it. Fast forward, they were playing in Madison tonight, and there's a piece of me yesterday. It's like, you guys want to get crazy and just go up to Madison?
See the full set, right?
But at some point throughout the day on all the social medias, I posted the show and the air is bad here, but it's coming from the north, coming down this way,
it's
so it's even worse
Madison. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and they canceled everything. But I got to tell you, It's way worse down by you guys than it is out here. Which out here, it's not great. I think it's not great here, but you aren't looking at that skyline that's like right in front of me, and I can't see it at all. Yeah. We don't have that same effect. For me, it's like, oh, you can't see a row of trees that you don't, maybe you couldn't on a cloudy day.
A mile away or something. Right.
Right. So it doesn't really hit the same. And so, we, my whole family, we hopped in the car, we drove down there and sang our hearts out for roughly 2.5 hours and had a grand old time.
All right, good.
Seeing Garbage and Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. I'm going to tell you, Garbage, first time I've ever seen him, fantastic.
Really? That's awesome. It's good to hear.
Shirley Manson still has her fastball, and you're like, I mean, she's 56 years old, I think.
Yeah.
Voice was great. Surreal experience. So I've seen Noel Gallagher a million times. I was telling this guy who's chit-chatting next to us. I thought about this. I've been going to see Noel Gallagher perform since I was 10 years old. Man. And 11 years old. Big difference. And same age as my daughter, seeing for the first time yesterday. So I've seen him a million times. Sure. It's very important to me, but that like sort of, oh my God, there he is only so significant still. It's still there. That's sure. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to it. Like there's Ed. There's right?
better. Yeah, right.
I cannot tell you how many times throughout the night, even during Noel's set, I was like, God, that was Butch Vig. Like he's real.
I know.
That was Butch Vig standing,
really and not a mythical figure in our world.
Well, and not like I was just like, oh, I'm awestruck, mesmerized. It's like you just can't believe that guy.
Yeah,
is an existing human being in front of you. And so I texted my buddy. I go, hey, random question. He was in a signed band back in the day. They recorded their one major label album at Smart Studios up in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Which was Butch Vig and what's the guy? Steve Markler.
Oh, okay.
The other guy in Garbage. There's a studio, but it's Butch Vig's studio basically. And I mean, Nirvana recorded there, Foo Fighters recorded there, Alice in Chains recorded there. Obviously, Garbage did. Right. Death Cab had. I mean, you name it. So they recorded their album with Dan Wilson of Semisonic producing it there. And so I texted him like, hey, any chance back in your day you met Butch Vig? And he said, no, we saw him while we were tracking at the studio, but you weren't going to go bother him, kind of a thing. Right. You didn't want to be those guys. Right. And it's like, I just feel like he looked like he was such a regular, normal dude. I just need to know if he actually was. He's like, no, don't know. But he's like this freaking Butch Vig. And
that's like, every year we go to the Second City thing to raise money. It's called Letters from Santa. And Steve Albini is one of the guys that runs it. It's like kind of his event, his and his wife's. And it's the same thing. Like it's Second City, the ETC stage nonetheless. So there's probably, 200 people in the whole place. And so Steve Albini, another, incredible music producer here locally, he's done a bunch of, just go Google Steve Albini. You're like, oh, there's an album somewhere you listen to that he probably produced. Right. But it's the same thing. Like he's just standing there, like right next to me. Like it's Steve Albini and he's just a dude. He's just hanging out. Like it's crazy.
They're supposed to be guys that are like, just sort of wheeled out of a closet when someone needs some work done or an interview, and you're like, oh, right. And then on top of it, he was a more than competent drummer.
Right.
And if you read how Garbage became a band and what they were doing, like really when Garbage was becoming a band, he was like just coming off of, I would say, like Siamese Dream, Nevermind.
Okay.
And plus, he was in bands with some success. Same thing with Shirley Manson. And so he was always a musician before the producer kind of a thing. But it was so weird. I'm going to tell you this about Garbage. I think, obviously, if you've paid attention to the show for the years we've been doing it, my Oasis Noel Gallagher thing. I don't need a gush. You can imagine how
he sounded great. I saw some clips. There were a couple of other people there that I knew. He sounded perfect. He sounded great.
Couldn't to the point I couldn't believe it. He's also 56 years old.
Yeah, sounded fantastic.
I would argue it was some of the best he's sounded since I've heard him. But so everybody just nailed it. Anyway, Garbage. I've always been fascinated by the band, given their construct, where they've come from.
Sure.
How they produce their sounds and how they execute something to make like a full formula that is their output is fascinating. The tools they use, the types of guitars they play, their effects, you name it. Just amazing to watch. And, you know, some of it's like, they're piping and backing tracks and I'm sure what have you. But Butch Vig's playing this weird, like, partial, mostly digital drum set with a little bit of acoustic drums involved in it, but not much. And I've been reading a little bit lately about, if you want to go a real music nerd here, basically how, you know, everybody's just, it's always been like, tube amps, warm vintage tube amps, where technology's evolved to the part where a lot of these touring bands are going, all the like digital preamp stuff has reduced our travel overhead, carrying things around. And I have all these things at my fingertips and they're perfect.
Right.
Butch Vig's drums are a testament to that. I mean, like rubber, plastic, metal, hybrid materials don't respond like a real cymbal and a real drum head. And you're looking at the stuff he's playing, and obviously it's all a digital output and it sounds just perfect. And you can see the cymbals, the way they're moving, are responding and moving like real cymbals. And God, man, how far technology has come. Let me give you my closing Butch Vig thought from my friend who was from, and he's older than me, he's more from that era. And
so he's like me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if he might be a little older than you.
Okay.
I knew him from when I worked at the guitar store in high school. Said Butch is a legend, more of a behind the scenes legend, but still he had a hand in and front row view of the dawning of the second half of rock music.
Yeah.
That's a perfect encapsulation of Butch Vig.
Yeah.
So
one last music nerd sort of Butch Vig note. If I can find the article, I'll put it in the description and notes or whatever. But if you want to, he does kind of an oral history of the production of Nevermind. And it is incredible. It's just amazing. Just because he kind of describes the thought process and what he was trying to, accomplish doing different sounds and different guitars and having, Cobain do X and, Grohl do Y. And it's just unbelievable. I couldn't get enough of it. It was awesome.
At the least, and you probably won't. I can't even get you to reply to a friendly text message. But if you can, remember it.
We've never talked about this. I know you get so is the expectation every time you send a text, I send a text?
I think
because I don't function that way necessarily.
If you send somebody like, hey, this is something interesting, like a discussion thing I'm just throwing at you real quick, you would think that. I also think it's part of just a bit for the show and, well, really our relationship in general.
Right.
I do know.
Okay.
But I did think the one yesterday, I was surprised I did not hear back from you. But
what was it? I don't remember now.
So in short, send me that link. Genuinely,
I will. I will find it.
This whole thing, like our real life aside, like I'd love to read that. It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
The Bryan Bros,
yeah.
Micah Morris and that Grant Horvath. I don't know. I get him mixed up with the hockey player Bo Horvath. Anyway, they've like buddied up. The Bryan brothers and those two guys have like buddied up for a lot of content together, and they're George Bryan and Grant are doing this new series where they're challenging people, calling it like the Chomp or something. I don't know. And their first match was the two of them versus Wesley and Akshay. And they're doing the first 9 on Grant's channel and the second 9 on the Bryan Bros channel.
Very common, right?
So I watch it, and it's very enjoyable. And I implore all of you to go watch all 2 hours of it on each channel. I did enjoy it. I'm not being sarcastic.
Okay.
Wesley Bryan, admittedly, is not at the top of his game. Still a very good golfer, and
correct.
Is a former PGA Tour and I believe multiple Korn Ferry Tour winner. If not multiple. He definitely has, but a good golf resume and a very solid golfer. Whenever they, most of the time they do matches on those channels, Wesley, he's in a league of his own, right?
Right.
Akshay hasn't won on the PGA Tour yet, but I would argue, he has had a better junior career. He maybe has a little more of an expectation. I don't know how you want to put it.
Maybe a little more upside as of right now. I mean,
he's definitely definitely as of right now. It's like Wesley's so good. And then you watch Akshay and you're like, he's not even, I would say, playing that hard. He's obviously not playing that serious.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's the difference. Right. And then you think of how many people are so much better than Akshay and really how it goes from like person to person, and still anybody can win on any given day. But they're like, I'm just going to feed it into something like this wide. Yeah, I'll just put it right there from 175 yards out. And I mean, he's incredible. Just absolutely incredible.
I think I was confused the way that you worded it.
Could it be possible?
You said something like you referenced the two players. You referenced Bryant and Akshay, and then you said he's in a different world or he's in a different league or something. I'm like, wait, which one? I wasn't. It was like, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this now. I'll just wait.
That was me trying to just goad you in a conversation. No, yeah,
that's like I have a 3 email rule for work and everybody knows it. So when we get to a reply, the third reply to the email, everyone needs to pick up the phone. That's my rule. Like I will pick up the phone after the third reply because nope, this isn't gonna. I'm not doing this.
Can we quickly pivot on that point?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I have had a big rage lately with people at work where it's like, how hard is basic communication and planning? And I went on this big rant today where I go, I'm not teaching any of you any like super specialized skill. I am asking you to be a practical, logical adult with a job. It's like, and I use the example to
God, you being in the workforce. I wish we were on the same team. It'd be so fun.
I said to this guy who I was sort of like, I'm getting very frustrated by the situation we're in. And I'm like, it's like I'm saying to someone, what color is the sky?
Yeah. Right.
And they say to me, I'm having fried rice for dinner. I didn't ask you that. I asked you, what color is the sky? And then they reply back. And they go, so can you tell me the color of the sky, please? Like I asked you the first time. I need to know this. I was going to try. I can't cook fried rice in my pool. What? One, that's crazy. Where does that even come from?
Is that a software technical thing? Like,
no, it's all across.
Because I feel like my wife, who also doesn't do exactly, but she works in that realm sort of thing. I feel like she experiences that a lot from the programming side, the programmer side, when she asks about.
I'm seeing it all over, and I'm wondering though. To be fair, that's a letter thing. I'm wondering. I've had this theory. I've noticed this time of year, my whole career, when I look back at it, always gets screwy in any role Summertime. I've had. And I think it's because, everyone knows like, hey, that midsummer people are going to disappear sort of like around the holidays. But you think you get to the first of the year, everybody was like waiting to spend because of budgets at the end of the year. And then first of the year, business isn't as great. It's kind of slow. So then people are like, well, we don't know what we want to do yet. So they don't spend. Then come like March, April-ish, okay, we got to do something and start really kicking things into gear. And right about now is we're like, hey, things should have been kicked into gear. We got to push. And so I think people like May to July start getting a little flustered. So maybe that
I could see
something
that.
to do with it.
I could see that.
That's a weird pivot. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah,
Last point to your never mind thing.
Yeah.
And Butch Vig, Billy Corgan to this day is still like, this is the most Billy Corgan thing in the world. Oh, hey, Butch Vig, whatever. And, Nirvana, what do you think of the success he had with that? And clearly something is like, well, what do I think of that? Where he's, I wonder where they got that sound from Butch Vig. Like, well, what do you mean? It's like, I kind of always resented it for like, he gave our sound away. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, Billy.
Yeah, that's what he did. He said, hey, take Marshall amplifiers, crank them to large,
11
large numbers with tons of feedback. Yep. And use a fuzz pedal.
Yeah. Yep.
He got you.
Right. But we can talk about Billy another time because I want to talk about this. So this is very timely as we head to Detroit as the tour heads to Detroit.
Do you think they're going to play with this weather? Or
I feel like the Cubs are playing.
That surprised me too.
I know, me too. So my point was what I was getting to earlier was once I found out the Cubs were a go, I just assumed the show was going to be a go too. Even though they're not singing, obviously there's some differences there, but anyways, I think they're going to play. It's supposed to clear up anyways by Friday.
Okay.
But anyways, so last week at Travelers, it's really funny to me when everyone complained about the low scores at the US Open, which the winner was 10 under. And then Keegan Bradley just goes and destroys the golf course in Connecticut. And then even today, I think Finau said like, I think someone will probably win this week with like a 30 under score because the course is so soft from some rain they've gotten.
Yeah.
So that leads into, I think what you're getting at here, your question around PGA Tour courses, like how many of these are even fun for members to play?
Yeah. Never mind even like what members shoot. But I feel like some of
you're talking about members of private, the members of the courses.
Yeah, most of the courses these guys are playing are lucrative private courses, especially with the majors. And I'm thinking, I think Augusta even fits into this, where it's like, how on a day-to-day basis, how much fun do you the member have playing this golf course? Like, is it fun for you to just go get your like wheels beat and just get destroyed? Be like, oh yeah, I'm like a 12 handicap. Like, well, you're a 12 handicap because you're playing a ridiculous golf course that someone's going like, oh no, it's only like 70.7 from the tips and
right
112. You're like, no, it's not. It's not. I played a lot of these courses and they're much more difficult than that. And you look at some of the holes.
And you haven't played them when they're getting set up for the tournaments.
Right.
Right. You've played them just on a normal day. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And then, I've played somewhere it's like they pride themselves in just making them unrealistic to play whatsoever.
Yeah.
And to the point where I'm going, this course shouldn't even be that hard of a course. It seems like sort of a generic whatever. And it's the most, I've played Erin Hills, and this is the most difficult course I've ever played in my life.
Because they trick it out with rough and super dumb fast greens that don't hold anything.
Right. I don't see. So watching the Travelers, there's a good portion of those holes. So I'm just looking at them going, that's a stupid golf hole. And if you're not Keegan Bradley, that's a or whoever, right?
Yeah.
That's very difficult hole to maneuver. And I think of what's Jack Nicklaus, Muirfield Village.
Sure.
It was the same thing. We're like, what is that really that fun to play? Like on a day-to-day basis, how miserable is the golfing experience? Like how masochistic is it maybe?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how many
ego,
of them
right?
it is.
It's ego.
Right.
That's what it comes down. It's collective club ego. They want theirs to be the hardest. They want their greens to be the fastest and blah, blah, blah. And it's just dumb. Honestly,
there's really there's no shot to play into that green unless you're perfect. And if they put the pin here, your best play short. Like, oh man, that sounds fun. So
yeah.
I get it. I get it for the pros. I get it. Make them strategize. Like, but these guys are superhuman.
Right.
I just wonder how many. And I'm not even saying this in a critical way. Like, hey, to each their own. They're paying the bills. They do whatever they want.
Oh no, yeah. Like if that's what you want to do, then do that. But yeah, I don't want to play your course. That's why I like playing. I feel like around here, I mean, I've played Flossmoor, and it's perfect. It's perfect. It's hard for the people that are good, and it's hard for the people that are bad. And it's just the way the course plays.
Right.
They're not doing anything extravagant with it. You know, the greens aren't lightning fast necessarily. They're not slow, obviously, but I mean, I would say the same thing too about Elgin Country Club that we just played.
There's one thing though, to me, it's a challenge. It's another thing to me when it's like, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
And I think like
beat your brain in.
Dubs Dread's a great example of it. Like, oh, you got me. Like what?
Right.
Why is that fun for a wide?
Right.
Like why? I can't imagine these people who are paying tens of thousands of dollars a year to have this exclusivity at a golf course just to be like, oh, you got me in a completely unfair situation and setup.
I shot a 110. I'm like on my private golf course because I couldn't hold a green. You know, like, yeah.
So I don't know. That's just my thought. And one that pops into my head a lot was I'm like, if I was a member at Rich Harvest, I enjoyed it the one time I played it, but it is a silly golf course. I was like, is this fun for people to play? And maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, I guess at a certain point, one way or the other, the course, right?
Yeah.
Hit the front of the green, no matter where the pin is. Hit the front of the green. Like you just end up kind of figuring it out. I guess.
I do enjoy when you do run into people with courses like we're talking about, and they can go and they're like a 4 on their home course, and they're like it's pretty impressive. It's because it's a tough track. Yeah. And then they come out to like St. Andrews, where Cog Hill 1 and 3, which are all very
slow or something.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
And they're just an absolute disaster. And then you say like,
right.
I know how to play that course, and as challenging as it is, it's like I play there all the time, so it's not as challenging. And it's like kind of like me with Village Links, right? Even though it's not comparable, it's not the hardest in the world. But
yeah, for sure.
At my worst, it's like I can at least bunt it around there into a competent something or other. And so, but then I can, if I have a case of the rights or something going on, hey Bill, let's go play Ravislow. Like, no, because you'll find all of my balls over at Calumet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That run, if you're going right on Calumet, not Calumet, at Ravislow, that run where it's the big par 5 that goes right along the houses, the par 3 that goes around the houses, the par 4 that goes around the houses, and then the par 3 again. Like, yeah, you're gonna have a long day.
Yeah, that
you got a case of the rights.
That is a miserable corner.
Right. You brought up St. Andrews. Let's close it out with your lovely, fantastic St. Andrews, and this is our local West Chicago golf course, not St. Andrews.
I think I texted you during this, didn't I?
You did, yeah. We had a conversation around it. I mean, you started off by sending me a picture of I don't want to give it the number of the card away because I don't want it to be more public knowledge than necessary because you didn't know about it and I didn't know about it. But yeah, you sent me the mythical golf cart.
Couldn't believe it when I saw it. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a kind of a last minute come together. Tee off as early as possible. I think I made a 6:27 tee time before work and got there at like 5 to 6. And the starters looking at me was like, you just want to go.
Yeah, right.
It's
the best. Yeah.
So there's one guy in front of me, single, probably like a hole and a half ahead, or maybe is a twosome, I don't know, but hole and a half, 2 holes ahead. And I played great for the first 3-4-ish holes. Maybe a dumb mistake, waking up, that's early here or there. And I would say around the 12th hole, it's like the wheels just came off because I started running into the maintenance crews.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You got to listen. You got to do maintenance on your golf courses going into the weekend. And anytime I get frustrated with maintenance crews and like, why are they here now? Oh, when else are they supposed to do it? They got to do it at some point. They're not going to do it on Saturday and Sunday. They're not going to.
Yeah.
Truth be told, Friday's a busy golf day too, but getting out first thing Friday is probably a smart time to get ahead of it for the weekend. I'm okay with that. And they're just doing their job. But there is a certain level of etiquette involved in it. And you've seen it where they go, oh, okay, hey, we're mowing. We're going to stop, hit your shot, then we'll go. Okay. And especially when I'm a single, there's no one around me. This was no problem.
Yeah.
So it starts getting bad. And it got to the point where I was probably 5 holes in front of the single behind me. No problem. That guy starts catching up to me. And I was on pace to play this round in 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I ended up coming in maybe 3 even because at 12 start running into it. And these guys, they're just not moving. And then finally on 6:15, I get up to the tee box, put my tee in the ground, ball on the tee. And this guy just comes out in one of the little flatbed 4-wheel carts.
Yeah.
And does this weird loop in front of the tee, then drives back away, then does another loop and just does a circle.
What?
Finally, he stops, looks at something right in front of me, and he sees me. He knows. Yeah. Then just does a circle around what he stopped to look at. Finally gets out of the cart, does something like he's fidgeting with the sprinkler head.
Yeah.
Starts to drive away. I'm like, okay. So I address the ball, comes back, stops, turns on the sprinkler. Right in front of the tee box.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying he's not even supposed to turn the sprinkler on. Go ahead. I get it.
Yeah.
He sees me. He could let me hit my shot.
Right.
And then this whole process of him standing there and not letting me go, 15 minutes.
Oh my God. That's legit brutal.
And then I kept running into it. Same thing with a guy, with guys mowing, and then guy mowing the fairway, and fine, that's whatever. I can let him take it when he goes down.
Yeah, right.
And he's fine. Okay, I'll hit, and I did. But again, I just had to wait for the 15-minute thing. I'm in my head at this point. Hit a terrible tee shot, but can kind of make something work and whatever. Now there's another maintenance guy doing something in the bunker right by the green, even though we're 85 yards apart and he knows I'm there. So I had to wait 5 minutes for that. And
God,
I love St. Andrews, as you know.
Yes.
And as I told you, I'll just say it. I'm playing the second course because I always play the first course. I did the wheel randomizer to pick which one I'm going to play. Never again. I'm never playing that second course again. If it's the only tee time we can get, we're just not going to play. We'll go to X Golf or something.
Yeah, right.
It's so bad. That course is so bad. Then on top of this, I was like, I just need to get out of here as soon as possible.
Right.
Absolutely miserable, to the point that you get the email, since you made your tee time online. Hey, we love hearing back. If you have any feedback, I'd love to, we love when people share their review of their experience. But I'm like, I'm not doing it. I want to so bad. And it's just talk about being that guy. But it was.
I was. That's brutal. I did play on. It was last week. A nice sun chasing round at Port Harborside. And it was the same kind of thing, which is just the best when you get there. You throw your bag in the cart, you roll up to the starter, and he's like, I was 30 minutes early or whatever. He's like, yeah, there's nobody here. Go for it. Like, yes.
Right.
2.5 hour round. Yeah, but they did send the follow-up email saying, hey, what'd you think of blah, blah. And all I put in there was like, you have to fix the cart paths. You have to fix the cart paths. Would you recommend Harborside? Not until it was all about every single answer came back to the cart paths. I will not recommend this course until you fix the cart paths. You can't have it that way.
I mean, they just don't get the rounds to pay for it, obviously.
Right. You just tear them up, man. Just tear them up. This off season, tear them up, dig them out, throw down gravel like White Pines does or whoever, and just be done with it. Like, God, they're so bad. I got to tell you though, I played both courses here recently, and again, not $120 course. I don't know. I'm not sure there are, in my mind, any $120 golf courses that are worth playing around here. Maybe you know, but for $75 to or $50 to $75, I'm okay with that. For Port and
I'm not letting you trick me into it. Last time you did, we showed and both you were in. I knew it was bad because even you were like, "No, I think you might be right about this one."
The cart paths are it's so bad. They're so bad, and there's nowhere to go.
When you say the cart paths, do you also include the where they do the wooden and rope pier aesthetics around them? Instead of fencing or something.
Yeah,
and
those are I don't mind.
Those are all toppled over and split.
Those are looking better. I think they've put those. I think they've put those. I don't think they replaced them, but I think maybe they stood them back up. Maybe
they've reeled them in.
Yeah, but they look better. I didn't notice that those. No, I'm just talking cart paths, just just destroying your kidneys as you go down. They
still look like an earthquake hit.
Oh man, they're so bad. They're so bad. I don't mean to. I didn't think we'd turn into this bag on Chicagoland golf courses, but here we are.
Hey, look. Sometimes you got to look at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Well, we teased it earlier. What do you have going on at drivingrangeheroes.com this week?
What did we have this week? Grant had a review out on a golf towel. And I can't remember what the other review was on Monday. That's what happens. You lose track of these things.
You'll just have to go and look. There's probably going to be a link in the description that you'll send me after the fact. So
yeah, I'm doing a lot of catching up on the schedule right now. So a lot of things coming fast and furious. So at this point, what I probably wrote this 3-4 weeks ago. And it just is in there. And you're going to go, Bill, you social media. I know, I did. I got a lot going on. I'm talking to people about cooking rice in their pool. All right. Can't keep it all straight. I will say this. I do want to point this out. And I honestly thought about it when I put this shirt on. I just put it on and went, oh, that's interesting. This is happening. Shout out to these guys. You and I both play sub 70 irons.
For those that listened. Yeah.
Good point. We do have this as a podcast. I am wearing a sub 70 t-shirt. And just because I picked it to put on, no other reason, I would like to remind everybody of something I saw today. You and I both play 659.
Correct.
Combo. No, you don't have a combo set.
I don't have a combo.
But let's just say combination of 659 irons. Yeah. Sub 70 running a 4th of July sale where you can get, I believe, 10% off on the 659 irons and the 699 V2. So, yeah, this is a unsolicited, informal,
unpaid.
Yeah, just promotion there because they're great clubs. I made a note. I got a new thing. I'm workshopping. But I thought of this while I was playing my miserable round at St. Andrews. I really like my club setup right now and what I got going. And those irons are a major piece of it. So you just have to set for 10% off if you want.
There you go. I got to tell you too. I was a little when I got my 659s. They're the raws. Yeah, and I was a little apprehensive about it, but boy, am I happy I got the raws. Just the looks of them. It's perfect. I love it so much.
I can't decide because eventually I'll need new ones. I can't decide if I'm going to go raw or not because his old me always would. And you're going to be using these a while. The whole point of the chrome finish is it holds up longer, blah, blah, blah. So I went with that, but I'm like, I wonder if I'll replace them with it. I use raw on my wedges.
Yeah. I love the aesthetic. I love it. I think they look great. People that see them think they look great. I think Adam, when we played ECC together, I think he may have been inspired to get some himself.
Yeah, he told me he got those coming, and I'm like, man, you are worse than me with your iron turnover, bro.
Yeah. I know he's a true tinkerer, man. That dude never stops. Never, ever, ever stops.
I mean, I can relate. I know how that goes.
No,
but
I get it, yeah.
For me, it's more of the like, I guess the just general interest and excitement of like, ooh, what do these do? And today
Right.
I just feel like it's the thrift stuff, right? It's just like,
Right.
I just want to play with this today, where he's like, his brains. It's funny because it's a very fine line between the two of us. It's very similar. I'm very much aware of that, but his is like, it's going to solve something. Me, it's like, why do something I can be consistent and rely on when I can mess around and like, well, I'm doing this today. That's fun. Right.
On the YouTube channel, for those that are here, they probably already know, but maybe you're first time viewer. Adam and I played ECC. There's a couple of videos.
That's Elgin Country Club for those who are not hip to acronyms and what are you talking about?
Not Elgin Community College, which I spent a semester there.
Is nearby.
It's true. So you can go watch that, and that's it. So don't forget, follow Bill Bush at Range Heroes on all the social medias. Follow me at Kris McEwen, and subscribe and like and hit the bell for the video. Subscribe to the podcast, rate and review it. Tell a friend. We almost forgot, Bill.
You better
tell a friend.
You better tell someone. Tell a friend.
That's right. Tell one person this week. That's all we ask.
That's all we ask.
All right. That's the show. We'll talk to everybody next week.